Lethal Weapon 1987 is one of the most iconic action films of the 1980s, and it kicked off a series that would define the buddy cop genre for years to come. Directed by Richard Donner and written by Shane Black, Lethal Weapon starred Mel Gibson and Danny Glover as a mismatched pair of detectives in Los Angeles. The film balances action, comedy, and character development, blending these elements to create a film that's both thrilling and emotionally engaging. Plot overview. The story centers around Martin Riggs, Mel Gibson, a volatile, suicidal cop with a dark past, and Roger Murtaugh, Danny Glover, a family man and veteran detective who's just days away from retirement. The two are forced to partner up when they investigate a string of murders linked to a drug cartel. Riggs is reckless and dangerous, but Murtaugh is more measured, leading to plenty of friction between the two as they clash on the job. Riggs's backstory is what sets him apart. He lost his wife in a car accident, which pushed him into a depression, causing him to engage in risky behavior. His need for adrenaline and his apparent lack of regard for his own safety make him an unpredictable and dangerous character. In contrast, Murtaugh is just trying to coast through the last days of his career, often responding with his catchphrase, "I'm too old for this shit." But over time, the two begin to form a bond, with Murtaugh becoming a kind of father figure to Riggs. Characters and performance. The chemistry between Mel Gibson and Danny Glover is what truly makes the film shine. Gibson plays the unhinged Riggs with a raw intensity, giving his character depth, humor, and a palpable sense of pain. The character of Riggs is dark and complex, yet Gibson manages to inject moments of vulnerability that make him more relatable despite his violent tendencies. Danny Glover, on the other hand, plays Murtaugh with a calm, measured approach, making him the perfect foil to Riggs' chaos. Glover's portrayal of Murtaugh, who is trying to balance family life with a dangerous job, is warm and grounded, and it creates a perfect contrast to Riggs' reckless nature. Together, they form one of the most iconic duos in film history. While Gibson and Glover are front and center, the supporting cast is also noteworthy. The film introduces a range of memorable characters, including the antagonist, Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey, who gives an unsettling performance as a sadistic henchman. Themes. At its core, Lethal Weapon explores themes of friendship, loss, and redemption. Riggs' journey is one of healing as he learns to open up and find purpose again through his bond with Murtaugh. Murtaugh, on the other hand, is dealing with the fear of losing his family and his sense of self as he nears retirement. Their partnership grows throughout the film, with their personal struggles and development intertwining with the action-heavy plot. One of the most interesting themes in the movie is the idea of balance. Riggs and Murtaugh are extremes of each other, and the film highlights how their partnership helps to balance them out. Riggs' reckless, death-seeking behavior is counteracted by Murtaugh's wisdom and love for life, and the contrast creates a fascinating dynamic. Another theme that emerges is the value of family. Riggs, who starts the film disconnected from everything, finds a surrogate family in Murtaugh's home. Murtaugh, who starts the film skeptical of Riggs, comes to see him as a son of sorts, with the two saving each other in different ways. The action and genre. In terms of the action, Lethal Weapon doesn't disappoint. The film features several iconic action sequences, including the famous opening scene where Riggs takes on a group of criminals while on a dangerous, high-speed pursuit. The film blends the action genre with the buddy cop dynamic, which became a staple in the 1980s and beyond. It's not just about the explosions and shootouts, but also the moments of humor, banter, and personal connection that give the film its unique identity. The buddy cop genre had become a popular trend in the late 80s, with films like 48 Hours, 1982, and Beverly Hills Cop, 1984, leading the charge. However, Lethal Weapon took the formula to a new level, making it more emotionally engaging and mature, while still providing the fast-paced, thrilling action the audience craved. Mel Gibson's career and impact. At the time of Lethal Weapon's release, Mel Gibson was already an established star, having gained fame with films like Mad Max and The Year of Living Dangerously. But Lethal Weapon marked a turning point in his career, solidifying him as a leading man in Hollywood and making him an action star. The role of Riggs was a significant departure from his previous characters, as it allowed Gibson to explore both the emotional depth and physical intensity that he would become known for in the years to come. Lethal Weapon's success led to a series of sequels, all of which maintained the same winning formula of action and emotional growth between the two leads. Lethal Weapon 2, 1989, and Lethal Weapon 3, 1992, continued the dynamic between Riggs and Murtaugh, with Lethal Weapon 4, 1998, wrapping up the series. The sequels, while not quite as groundbreaking as the original, still maintained a loyal fan base and cemented the franchise's place in pop culture. Cultural impact and influence. The impact of Lethal Weapon on pop culture cannot be overstated. It set the tone for the buddy cop genre, influencing numerous films and TV shows in the decades to come. The blend of humor and action became a template for many movies, with franchises like Bad Boys and Rush Hour following in its footsteps. In addition, the film introduced some catchphrases and iconic moments that have endured over the years. Riggs' line, "I'm too old for this shit," became synonymous with the character of Murtaugh and served as a defining trait of the film's tone. The movie's gritty yet heartfelt portrayal of two men from opposite ends of the spectrum learning to work together has resonated with audiences for decades. Conclusion. Lethal Weapon is a cornerstone of 1980s action cinema, with memorable performances from its lead actors, intense action sequences, and a story that has stood the test of time. It's a perfect example of the buddy cop formula done right, balancing thrilling action with deeper emotional beats. The chemistry between Mel Gibson and Danny Glover elevates the film, creating an iconic partnership that continues to be remembered fondly by fans. The film's success sparked sequels that kept the franchise alive for over a decade, and its influence can still be felt in modern action films. Lethal Weapon remains a timeless classic. A must-watch for fans of action, buddy cop films, or anyone looking to see two of the biggest stars of the 80s at the peak of their powers.